Turning now to shares of Netflix, the streaming giant reporting fourth quarter results, and the shares are surging 10.5%. The company's numbers beating pretty much across the board and in terms of forecasts. So let's go through them. Fourth quarter earnings per share, $4.27, $4.18 is what analysts had been anticipating there, and revenue at $10.25 billion. That too was ahead of estimates. The company is also coming out with forecasts for the first quarter revenue, which looks like it might be a little shy actually, as well as earnings per share. First quarter revenue at $10.42 billion. That's the forecast. Analysts estimating $10.48 billion, and earnings per share in the first quarter seen at $5.58, $6.01 is what analysts had been anticipating. However, for the full year, Netflix says for 2025, revenue will rise 12 to 14%. The midpoint of that above the forecast, and the company also raising its forecast for operating margin for the full year. So that seems to be mitigating any negativity around that first quarter forecast. Also, we got a buyback authorization of an additional $15 billion. So put all that together and you get a 10% gain in this
And
stock.
of course, what's impressive here is this stock had already surged. It was up about 80% over the past 12 months heading into this report. Now it's jumping about 10% in the after hours here. I know some questions, front and center for analysts on the street, kind of broader questions for them is this company has talked very confidently about their 2025 content slate. Very obviously confident about what's coming. So I know the street's going to be eager to hear, okay, what do you think that actually mean in terms of impact on net ads and your financials? The strategy when it comes to live sports is going to be talked about a lot on the call. What did execs learn from those NFL games that were streaming over Christmas? Then also, of course, front and center for investors, how does the ad tier change? How does it evolve over here as they continue to keep adding these events?
Yeah, and I'm just scanning through the shareholder letter here, which always has lots of good tidbits in it. They're touting some of the programming that has come out, including, of course, sports. They talk about the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, even though it had some technical glitches. Still was what they said was the most streamed sporting event ever. Christmas Day, they had those two NFL games that were also heavily streamed. And then, of course, they talk about Squid Game Season 2. Carry On, which was that movie, TSA-themed thriller, which also did well for them. I mean, whenever we say did well, it didn't mean as much, but now that you have ad dollars also that are following some of that, there's a little bit of a different nuance when they talk about highly rated shows.
Yep.